Hello again, Mountain Lions, and welcome back to the Red Mountain Radio. As always, I'm your host, Brooklyn Anaya, and today we've got the first winter sport of the season for you. Although it might not feel like winter here in Arizona, it sure is the season for our sports, and today we're featuring Winter Guard. For those of you who haven't listened in before, in the Winter Sports Insider, we'll discuss everything surrounding high school sports by getting first-hand, personal accounts from the athletes themselves. If you're curious for more, check out our last episode, which features Lydia Rogers and Brooke Gilbert from RMHS Girls Golf. Now, listeners, I know in the past we've published 2 teams per episode, but Connor and I have been swamped with work, so from now on, we're going to release only 1 sport per episode. This will make the episode shorter and more packed with information. I hope you enjoy. Our first and only interview for this episode is with Winter Guard. Visiting the podcast today is junior Meighan Cherry and senior Lilly Collins. Let's jump right into that conversation. Hi everyone, I'm here with Meighan Cherry.
Hi everyone.
And Lilly Collins.
Hi.
From our RMHS Color Guard team. Thank you guys so much for being here today on this lovely, wonderful day with the podcast. And we're really excited to start the winter sports season with Color Guard. It's not a very popular sport like football or soccer or wrestling, and the meets and games aren't as advertised as others. So I'm kind of wondering, what is it that you guys do?
So Color Guard, if you've ever seen a marching band show or gone to a football game, you've probably seen us there with the marching band. So we are the flags and dance and more visual part of marching band specifically. And for our winter season, it's basically the same thing, just take us out of the marching band and put us in a school gym, basically. So we do the same, all sorts of things. We dance, we spin flags, rifles, and sabers, all to a different song, basically.
Yeah, so we just finished up our marching season in December, and that was a really good season. Our show was Streetlight. That was awesome. And then we're starting our new season for Winter Guard, and it's called The Road. So it's from a TV show called Agatha All Along, and I think we're all pretty excited for this season to start. We've had a couple practices, a couple spin clinics, so I think it's going to be a good season. We're excited.
That is amazing, and I can't wait to see what you guys do with this season. So as you mentioned, Lilly, Color Guard's more of the artsy part of marching band. What do you mean by artsy?
So we are technically considered a sport of the arts. So we do qualify as like performing arts. You know, we perform to an audience, but we're also like a sport of the arts. So we use our physical strengths and endurance to produce that performance level in that art. Sort of like dance, where they dance and perform, but it also requires a lot of physical skill and muscle. We, you know, have to build muscle and strength to, you know, toss really high tosses on rifles.
Cool. So I'm hearing that Color Guard requires some biceps, some muscles. What kind of group of muscles does Color Guard require? Because we actually did talk to cheerleaders, and of course cheerleaders are perceived to be not super athletic, but in fact they are, we learned. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking it's the same kind of thing for you guys. Color Guard, oh, they're just artsy little flag spinners. Tell me what kind of muscles are going on with Color Guard.
I'm not super into anatomy, so I couldn't for sure tell you, but I know a lot of arm strength. Like, I'll come home from practice after a couple hours of doing whatever we're doing, and my arms will be sore. And then in addition to a lot of leg muscles are used just because we're running and using certain technique while we're traveling across the field or the floor. So a lot of leg and arm is used. Yeah. Our coach wants us to always engage our core, which is fun to also do while we're running around the field.
Sort of just like all over. I mean, I remember our last practice, I came home and the next day my legs were so sore, like they were shaking. I was like out of breath. Like, it requires like sort of everything, like our abs.
Full body workout.
Yeah.
HIIT training.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Except we make it pretty. So you know,
like,
points for us.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
More points.
You couldn't even tell.
Yeah.
We're like angelic angels on the fields running
angelic
across with like
angels.
Yeah.
Just bounding and leaping.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With colorful banners. Wow.
I prefer concussion fairy because...
Oh, tell me the story behind that. What is concussion fairy?
Just rifle and saber are the 2 pieces of equipment that we usually use for weapon. So there's two different parts usually. So there's flags, and there's a whole bunch of different types of flags. We have swing flags, 6 foots.
They're technically like 5.5 and 5 foots, but we don't use those because those are normally for like shorter people in elementary level.
Right. And then
So not for the big kids.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And then we have a different side, and it's weapon. It's usually more advanced choreography. So we use rifle and saber. Last year for our marching show, we used umbrellas.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's just when you're tossing, obviously, that heavy piece of wood or metal, depending on rifle or saber, when it comes down and cracks your skull open, it doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
Are you speaking from experience?
I have definitely gotten hit in the head a couple times by pieces of equipment.
Mhm.
It's also really great because Winter Guard is obviously the colder months of the year. So when you catch it and you jam your finger and it's freezing outside, it's it's not fun to deal with, to say the least.
Can speak from experience. Last year, I think I might have broken one of my fingers from tossing a saber and then jamming it really badly.
Oh, dangerous.
Yeah.
Come do guard, but know that you may have to sign a contract and a lease of
An NDA.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
It's fun though. It's worth it, but it definitely does hurt when you
What happens in guard stays in guard.
Exactly.
pretty much.
Solemn.
Yeah.
You mentioned, Meighan, that Winter Guard is super freezing. How does the environment impact your guys' game? I know you mentioned practicing in the gym as well. So do you guys practice in the gym or on the field? And if you practice on the field, I mean, it's super cold. So how do you guys deal with that?
Luckily, we are able to practice at the Fremont gym because it's open. So all of our competitions are going to be inside in the gym. So we are lucky enough this season to have that gym for all of our practices. But last year, we had like half of our practices being outside on the basketball courts by the 700s, which can get really cold, which sort of like freezes and tenses up your muscles. But just, working out, and that really warms us up and gets us our muscles going.
Yeah, so before every practice we stretch, so that's good. Last year we did a lot of fitness training where we do a lot of endurance like exercises before we start, and then we'd stretch and then we'd start doing stuff, and that normally helped, but like Lilly said, lucky enough for us, we're inside this year, so that's really nice. But for marching band, we're outside a lot, so that's definitely difficult to keep yourself warm and then run around on the field. So that's a little bit more difficult, but this year, yeah, we're really lucky to be able to be inside.
Thank you, Fremont.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit more about the Color Guard team. The group of men and women coming together to make this sport a beautiful, beautiful sport. What does the Color Guard team here at Red Mountain look like?
So I would say we have a lot of diversity, which is really good. For Color Guard versus Winter Guard, it's a little bit different. So for our Winter Guard program, we have middle school students come in. So if you're 7th or 8th grade, you can come join Winter Guard. And then by the time you get to high school, you can just join the Color Guard team, and then you can do both. As of right now, we have a couple of middle schoolers, and then we have across all grades in Winter Guard, which is really great. I started personally my first year, we did Electric Love. And
By Borns?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it was a cover by somebody else, but yeah, it was that song. I started my 8th grade year. I was terrible my first year, but it really helped coming into Color Guard. The team overall, we're just supportive. We try to help each other a lot. Lilly and I being captains, we kind of took that role this year, which was really fun. I enjoyed the captain position. Our team is really motivated, and they're really hard workers, and it's just a very positive environment that we work in, which is really great. They're awesome people, and they're really good. Like, they're so smart, and they're so funny, and they're just an amazing environment after a hard day at school or finishing off a week. We have a competition, and just spending the day with them is really great because they're awesome people to be in a room with.
It's great to decompress with the team and do something that you love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does Color Guard have coaches? You guys mentioned that you're the captains and you've stepped into a really leadership position this season, but what are the coaches like?
Yeah, so we have 2 coaches this year, Aubrey and Jamie, and they are like one of the best Color Guard coaches like in the state of Arizona. Of course, that's coming from me who works with them, but they're super positive and uplifting, and they really push us to get new skills out. I just learned a new toss literally just this Thursday from Jamie, And it's just amazing to have them preparing us and pushing us to go forward with, this career, in college. I mean, I just signed up for the ASU marching band and might be doing that in college as well.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're at ASU, you'll be doing marching band.
Yeah.
And you'll be on the color guard section?
Yeah, I'll be on the color guard section. And then ASU also has a winter one. It's an independent group, so anyone can join, but they're more affiliated with ASU. They're called Phoenix. And then there's another one that's not affiliated with anything. They're called Oasis. So I'm thinking about joining those two next winter season.
We'll have to come out and watch you. Support.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, a little bit more elaboration on our coaches, if that's okay.
No, that's great. Yeah.
I would just say it's like the rest of our team. They're just overall amazing. They're great at choreographing. They're great at being supportive. As much as they're my coach,
they're our second parent.
Yeah, it's like a second parent, and it's really awesome to have them because, again, they're just so supportive. When they're critiquing us, they don't do it in a negative way. It's more of a you'll get them next time kind of thing, and then give us some tips on how to fix something rather than being very
negative.
Right.
I like that, but here's what we can do better. Kind of wording and phrasing. That's great.
Yeah.
Positive coaches make a positive environment, and that gets wins.
Agreed.
Yes, guys. Next, let's talk about you guys as individual players and people on the color guard team. One thing that I do like to ask every athlete that we have on here, it's kind of funny and it adds a little bit of complexity to you guys as people. What's your favorite after meet or game snack? Something that you crave after a color guard meet.
Our practices get done at 9 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
And so after, I'm just hungry and I'm really craving Sonic mozzarella sticks. They're just right there, down the street. I just love to get them.
I don't know if I have a specific craving when I come home, mainly just whatever is accessible, although I am a sucker for animal crackers. They're honestly the best. I'll just sit and down an entire bin of those after practice.
The frosted animal crackers or the graham animal crackers?
The graham animal crackers. That's what I usually have in my house, but I'll just take them upstairs and sit on my bed and just munch, and I'll talk to my sister and we'll just talk about practice and debrief for a little bit because she was also on the guard team. She graduated last year. Oh. But yeah, I'll just... Yeah, animal crackers.
And Sonic mozzarella sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Different ends of the spectrum here.
Absolutely.
Sweet and savory. You mentioned, Lilly, that practices end at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And you are a senior.
I am a senior.
And Meighan, you're a junior.
Mm-hmm.
What effect does that have on all your workload from school? Because, of course, you guys are student athletes. How does that affect your classes and your homework?
For me, I normally like to get as much work done before practice. So practices are 5 to 9, but they're only on Mondays and Thursdays. Because they're only on Mondays and Thursdays, it's not as much homework to do after practice. For me, it works out better to get, at least half done before and finish the rest after at some point.
Yeah, this is coming from the senior who brags to me all the time. She's like, I don't have any homework because I'm graduating next year, so I have nothing to do anyway. And I'm like, okay, thanks for shoving it in my face. But the mild amount of homework, because honestly, my teachers are pretty great. We have 2 of the same classes. We have stats and
AP Psych.
And AP Psych, yeah. The homework load is not bad to begin with. I wouldn't say it's super long, but we only have practice 2 times a week. We have it Monday and Thursday night. So it's not bad. I'm able to get a lot of work done. I rely heavily on Wednesdays, early release days is my get stuff done kind of day. But if the off chance that I have a lot of homework on the other days, it's just before practice, or I'll do it during lunch or my 4th hour ITA, so I have a little bit of time to do stuff in there as well. But yeah, I don't find homework to be a big issue.
What tips do you have? Because I'm also a student athlete, and I find myself getting a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of homework I have. What kind of tips do you guys have for other student athletes to kind of manage their homework, life, sports balance?
Don't overload yourself with everything. I know a lot of people want to get so many things done in high school, join every club that they can, every extracurricular that they want to do, but it's best to know to not overwhelm yourself with that, because that can get in the way of your mental health, and school can be a lot as it is. So putting a sport on top of that can make it a little bit more stressful, but just knowing that once you get this done, you can do this, you can do that, whatever you need to. Yeah, I would say just think about school first, and then, you know, you can do all the fun things that you want to do after school.
I think that was a good summary of it. I also get somewhat overwhelmed sometimes, especially during the marching band season, because I feel like that load is a little bit heavier. And we have to wake up super early, so I gotta go to bed a little bit earlier. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say that it's super overwhelming, but if I were to give a tip, I would just say schedule your time. A planner has been my lifesaver. I love being able to stay organized and just know what I have to do throughout the day, and then being able to get that done, just kind of check all that stuff off. So staying organized would probably be my biggest tip for keeping up with school and your sport.
And I bet organization also helps with color guard. I mean, You guys are so choreographed. You need to be very perfect with everything you do. So organization is a big part of color guard, would you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to hear from any sports team is the lore. Lore drops from past seasons or from this season of just funny things that you'll remember for the rest of your life, or just inspiring moments that you've had. And I'm wondering, what is the kind of like lore behind color guard, especially since it's not very heard of in the sports world?
Mm-hmm.
What is kind of the insider scoop behind the color guard team? What's going on there?
One thing that I really like about it is that there are so many like different types of shows you can do. So one of my favorite Winter Guard shows is from like 1997, I think. And it's about Dante's Inferno. So it's super creepy and scary, and there was a rumor that someone actually died during the show because they like quote unquote hung someone like during the show.
Oh yeah.
But then last year our show was from the book A Bad Case of Stripes. Like that's just my favorite like sort of like contrast between my personalities, is just like how far you can go on different ends of the spectrum. And then this year, we're obviously going down more the middle route, like mysterious sort of, called The Road, you know. I love how diverse color guard is.
With all the different themes that you can explore.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any lore, but just the amount of equipment that gets broken is like offensive, honestly.
She broke my saber last week.
Your saber last week. I was practicing the auditorium, and it's like, it's carpeted and it was fine, and I was doing a toss and I dropped it and it like snapped in half, and I was like, oh, what do I do about this? And then I got to our 6 hour that we have psychology, and I told you, and you were like, that's my baby. And I was like, I felt so bad, but I texted my coach and I was like, what do I do about this? Like, do I need to replace it? And she's like, it's just kind of the nature of sabers, because honestly, just the way that some of the equipment is built, it's meant to be
bent and broken.
Yeah, it's supposed to have endurance, but sometimes it just doesn't. Like last year we got like an entire set of flagpoles, and all of them were like bent by the end of the season.
Yeah, like, they like were manufactured bad somehow, that just like the cold weather just bent and broke them or something like that.
So I'd say, yeah, one thing is just all of our equipment is not super reliable, but
last winter season, this one girl broke like 2 rifles, I think, in one season.
Yeah, 2 rifles, and she broke her saber.
Yeah,
she snapped her saber in half as well.
Don't let her around anything important.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I would just say the amount of equipment that gets broken and just damaged in general, like if you're stepping on your silk and you're trying to toss something, your silk will just completely rip in half. Like,
has not happened to me yet.
Hasn't happened to me either. I've definitely stepped on a couple silks before, but I haven't ripped anything.
No.
Let's hope. Knock on wood. Before we have to wrap it up, Meighan and Lily, there is a certain tradition on this podcast. Not sure if you guys have heard of it, but it is involving some trivia.
Sounds fun.
So you have to participate. Okay. Don't have a choice. I'm sorry. Are you guys up for some trivia?
Yeah.
I can't promise I'll be good, but I'll try.
You know what? As long as you do better than boys beach volleyball, I will be proud of you.
Okay, perfect.
Is this about our sport?
Yes, it's only
Okay.
about your sport.
Oh, Jesus.
Hopefully, actually, some of the questions, I was writing them, and I was like, I bet they'll get these. So,
I feel like I don't know any, like, technical things about it, though.
I got you. I got you.
I'm
okay.
gonna let
And
Lily
yes,
take
you guys
this.
can help each other.
Okay.
Cool.
It's a team thing.
All right.
Hoorah. Okay. Let me explain the rules. You will have 10 seconds to answer a question after the question is asked. If you answer correctly, you'll get 3 points. And if not, you get none. You will have 3 regular questions worth 3 points for a total of 9 points, and 1 bonus question worth 5 points, which can bring your total to 14 points if you get everything right. At the end of this season, the winter sports trivia season, whoever wins, which whoever has the most points, whatever team does, you're going to win a winter sports trivia bragging rights trophy. It's a real thing. It's a physical
Wow.
item.
I'm
So
excited.
you guys can hold it up and say, "Ooh, Robbie won." Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Do you guys think you can do it?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna see.
Yeah.
We're gonna try our best.
Yeah. We
We
got
got
this.
You guys got this.
Oh yeah.
Light work.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's
No
get
reaction.
to it.
Here we go.
Let's start with the first question.
Okay.
Which of the following is equipment normally used in winter guard shows? Knives, balls, pool sticks, or sabers?
Sabers.
Sabers.
That was a tough one.
That was a hard
That
one.
one
Yes,
was
you
really
guys
hard.
are correct. Next one, and Lily, you actually mentioned this earlier, so I really hope you remember. True or false? Winter guard is also known as the sport of the arts.
Oh, true.
Yeah. True.
Easier than that. Good job. 3 points.
We're doing really good.
Yeah, I know.
Other teams better watch out.
Ooh, got some competition. And the last normal question for 3 points. Right now you guys have 6 points, so you guys are doing good. From what government-run organization did the creative sport of color guard originate from?
I'm going to say.
Can I get a repeat on the question before we answer?
From what government-run organization did the creative sport of color guard originate from?
No, are we talking about U.S. government? Isn't it like ROTC?
Like
from
what?
the government. Like the
Like
army.
The army organizations?
Is that your final answer?
Sure.
The army?
The army?
Is that our best answer? I don't know.
I think it
You
is.
gotta
I
lock
think
it
it
in.
is. I'm going to lock in the army.
Okay, I like it. Let's do it.
That's correct.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yay! You're so smart. I never would have guessed that.
It was government run.
Yeah,
that was-
That is
yeah.
true. It was started to kind of, because color guard protect the colors, the American flag,
Mhm.
so people would parade it around, you know. Yeah, that's what it started from.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
technically, you guys are soldiers in all technicality.
Oh yeah.
Now, for the last question, which is the bonus question, if you guys get this right, you'll have 14 points. So, kind of nervous about that. A little bit nervy. You guys scared? No, don't be. You guys will do great.
Okay.
All right. So this is the big one, the big question for 5 points. Where is the World Championships for Winter Guard held every year? I'll take the city name, the state name, or both. And yes, it is in America.
It is
Oh my gosh.
for what? WGI?
Yes.
I think
Not a
it's
clue.
I think it's Indianapolis, Indiana, or something like that.
Indianapolis.
In Indiana.
Indiana.
Sure.
The answer is Dayton, Ohio.
Ohio.
Ohio,
That's right.
what?
Oh, I knew that one too.
I not a clue.
because
Ohio.
yeah,
I feel like she's
Ohio.
into this like
because
kind of stuff more.
Indianapolis is for DCI, which is
Yeah.
marching band.
Right.
Yeah.
I say that, but I have no
It's
idea.
Ohio. I mean, and Ohio's kind of crazy anyway. So.
that
Yeah,
makes a
no
lot of
one really
sense.
cares about Ohio.
Hey.
How do you think Ohio
No offense.
feels about that?
Ohio.
I'm
got
sorry,
their feelings
Ohio.
hurt just now.
Dang.
Cut that out. Just kidding.
Well, thank you guys so much for being on the podcast. You guys clocked out with 9 points. So you guys got all of the regular questions correct and not the last one, but that's okay. So right now you're in first place because you guys are the only people that we've interviewed so far.
Yeah.
So hopefully you keep the first place title for the rest of the winter season. And hopefully we'll be seeing you guys back here to give you your trophy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank
Ooh.
you.
That's the hope, isn't
Yeah.
it? Okay, well, Thank you for having us here. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed
much fun.
Just getting the word out of color guard because I think it's a super cool sport. And if you're looking for something to kind of get yourself out there that's artsy but not super
demanding.
Yeah.
Creative artsy outlet.
Yes,
Artsy outlet. I like that a lot.
Join color guard, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully we got some new people. Excited.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Brooklyn.
Yes. You guys are welcome. Thank you for coming on here. And have a great season.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Everyone, that was Meighan Cherry and Lilly Collins from Color Guard. Color Guard's first competition is on the 25th of January at 9 p.m. at Agua Fria High School. Make sure to come out and support your Mountain Lions. Well, listeners, that's it for this week's episode. We heard some great stories and got great insight on Color Guard with athletes Meighan Cherry and Lilly Collins. Coming up, next time on the Winter Sports Insider, wrestling. Tune in next time to get all the insight on girls and boys wrestling here at the Red Mountain Radio. Thanks again for tuning in to Episode 7, Season 4 of the Winter Sports Insider, featuring Meighan Cherry and Lilly Collins. Thanks to them for joining me today. You can follow us on Instagram at Red Mountain Radio, spelled REDMTNRADIO, for updates on episode drops and fun behind-the-scenes insights. I'm your host, Brooklyn Anaya, and thanks again for joining me for this Sports Insider episode. Today's episode was written by Brooklyn Anaya. Our directors are Brooklyn Anaya and Connor Sampson. Our producers are Mr. Kelly from RMTV, Brooklyn Anaya, and Connor Sampson. Our sound engineer is Connor Sampson, and thanks to Connor Sampson for mixing and editing the sound. Thanks to our special guests for this episode, Meighan Cherry and Lilly Collins. Thanks to them for joining me today. And last, but certainly not the least, thanks to you, listener, for tuning in. Your support is what keeps us making episodes. This was Season 4, Episode 7 of the Sports Insider on Color Guard by the Red Mountain Radio. And Mountain Lions, remember to say no to drugs and stay in school. The administration told me to say this.